Hi everyone, my name is Adrienne COF, and today I'll be talking about tap water in the LA area. So first I have a survey. If you're from the LA area and if you drink the water directly from the tap, just raise your hand. Yeah? Okay. So my claim is that drinking the tap water in Los Angeles is harmful to your health because 1, Los Angeles' tap water is inadequately tested, which means 2, there are more contaminants found in LA's water than in any other city, and 3, can pose health risks, especially for the young, old, and the sick. So for my first claim, tap water in Los Angeles isn't tested adequately, and there's too many people who live in the Los Angeles area, who work or who commute here for water to be this way. According to the Safe Water Drinking Act, public water systems must conduct chemical testing for groundwater surfaces every 3 years. And 30 to 40% of our water comes from groundwater sources. And arsenic is a chemical commonly found in water, and arsenic, which means that arsenic is tested every 3 years. Cities must focus not only on testing, but on other issues. According to Water Management and Planning in the United States, urban water systems also focus on fire, drought, and emergency situations. It does no good to have decreased efficiency in one area because other focuses. We need to be able to pour safe water to the fires that happen constantly in LA and into a glass of water. And to my second point, based on a national average, Los Angeles' tap water exceeded safety standards. From data collected during 2004 to 2005, to 2009, the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California discovered 27 contaminants in their tap water, while the national average was at 8. And safety standards are in place for a reason. With 19 more chemicals found in the national average, 27 contaminants is really 20 excessive. That was a very bad pun. So, a hypothetical question. If you had the flu and you're drinking tap water that has levels of arsenic, would that be good for you, or would you still have more problems because of it? Water still possesses health risks and needs to be treated more thoroughly, especially for people who are young, old, or with weakened immune systems. A study reported that nearly 800 water samples in LA County had traces of harmful chemicals, and 4 locations contained levels of arsenic that exceeded health standards. All of these areas were open to the public, so it wasn't just affecting 800 people, but all of Los Angeles. And according to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, long-term effects of arsenic can cause problems with skin cancer and cancer in the liver, bladder, and lungs. Short-term effects were yellow or darkening of the skin and warts. So for short-term effects, you could look like a Simpsons character, but it could lead to such problems like skin cancer or cancer in your bladder. And another report by the Natural Resources Defense Council concluded that antiquated waterworks and pollutions are combining to affect the quality of drinking water. So our water doesn't actually come from anywhere nearby. It comes from sources like the Colorado River or from the Owens Valley. And if you've ever been across state lines with your family, you know that car rides aren't really fun. If you're traveling through an antiquated pipeline, it's probably almost the same. So in summation, my claim that drinking the tap water in Los Angeles is harmful to one's health, and it was supported by the inadequately tested waters of Los Angeles, the contaminants that were found in said water, and the effects that the water can have on your health. That concludes my presentation, and thank you for listening.
All right, well, the topic's identified. You got a very clear claim. There's an excellent layout of what the secondary points are, so that's pretty solid. Internal signposting is also solid. The stuff on the risks I think, need to be developed a little bit more. You mentioned, for instance, that there are levels of arsenic that have been found, but you did mention that there are only 4 places where the level of arsenic exceeded what the standards are. So it sounds to me like all of the others meet the standards, and I don't know how many places they test. It sounded like there were 800 tests at least in one piece of evidence that you're citing, and so that 4 exceeded the level that the EPA or the Clean Water Act requires. That's not a good thing, but how significant an impact it's going to have on the water supply, I think, is a little bit hard to assess here. I did think that it was important for you to include that material on the dangers of arsenic levels that are high. I thought that was relevant, but you need to show, for instance, that the arsenic levels are high enough to be this, to produce this particular kind of threat, and it seems a little bit marginal. The fact that there are 27 contaminants versus 8 in most places doesn't necessarily mean that any of those contaminants are dangerous or problematic. The only one that you talk about that is dangerous and problematic is the arsenic one, and it only exceeds the dangerous level in 4 places. So that seems like it's kind of minimized its argument a little bit. There's a presupposition that because water has to travel some distance, that it's likely to suffer in some way from contamination. I think you're going to need better evidence on that particular point. All right. Thank you.